It's powering up. All right, here we go. We are live. All right, guys. Welcome everyone. Welcome. This is the Right Flow Show. This is episode. We calling this episode "Private Money." Got my good friend Frank the Bank down there in South Carolina. Go and help you out, man. Show you guys how to get this private money. One thing I just like to go over at the beginning of the show, it's the Right Flow Show. It's all about the flow. The flow is like you in the zone. Like say if you're a basketball player and you hit like 2 or 3 shots and you just feel like you can't miss, you in the zone. You stepping down into the zone. But this is the flow. That's what we call it. The Right Flow Show. Got my good friend Frank down there in South Carolina. He's gonna share with you guys some information on how private money can just kind of help benefit your real estate business. Because just imagine, if you can add as much money as possible to say money wasn't an option, wasn't a problem. How many real estate deals could you do if you didn't have to worry about money? And I just had a gentleman earlier today call me up and then wanted some information about the private money. And then, before we get too deep in it, I want to just throw this out there because I know, everybody's watching. Some people got good intentions. Some people got different intentions. We're not attorneys. We're not accountants. We're just going to kind of just, share with you guys some information from our own experiences when it relates to this private money. So without further ado, let's give it up to my man, Frank the Bank. What's happening, man?
How you doing, Armand?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Give them an example about the private money deal, man. Is this like some of the deals that you put together using private money?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate. The guy I learned from, he raised several $1 million private money, 100, 200,000 at a time. But I guess the key is just ask, let people know what you're doing. And like you said, just let it flow, let it go from there. Basically, you're letting people be the bank and you're paying them interest just as you would a bank loan. And once they understand that and can get on board and realize that, they've got a property as security, as collateral, it's not hard as it seems. Some people can make it harder than it really is. The key is just letting people know what you do and, being relaxed when you talk with them. If they can see the value, I probably raised 15,000 this morning.
Nice.
We got a house back. We bought it on terms and people paid 5,000 down. They was paying $725 a month. Our mortgage is only $333 and it's been paid off for a couple of years, but they just something happened. They got a divorce and got in a fight in court. The judge said give the landlord back the house, so we're sitting on a $900,000 property, and it needs about 12,000 in rehab. And the guy that's going to rehab it, we told him when we flipped this other one, which we bought with private money also, that
Nice.
we'll take that 12,000 to fix it up. And then I asked him, I said, if you want to put the money up, and we'll pay you your money back plus, some interest at closing. You can go ahead and start. He said, okay. So he understood, that he'd get his money back. I mean, there's the structure was in front of him, and I've never borrowed money from him before, but he understood how it works.
The structure was in front of him, and
Hold on, got a little
echo.
feedback. Yeah. You good? My bad.
But I guess there's a couple ways. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I was just trying to just tune in to make sure I was getting the chats. If anybody had any questions or whatnot, I just want to make sure I can respond to them.
There's a couple ways, you could go about getting the money. Sometimes we'll just borrow money with no collateral, say, anywhere from 10 to 20,000 to do fix ups or, simple things like mobile homes or lots or land. If we borrow, 40, 50, 100,000, we'll put a property up as equity.
Mm-hmm.
If you find the property and you got it under contract, that's your equity to borrow private money. And sometimes I'll try to buy things even if I don't really plan, maybe at that moment to rent them or sell them just to draw off of. A wholesaler brought me a double wide on land out of the lake, which one down the road selling for 169,000. This one is 1 bedroom shorter. It's not quite as close to the lake, but I picked it up for 10,000, gave him a $2,000 wholesale fee, and now
Nice.
I could borrow 60,000 against that property. Even though it's not fixed up yet. So
Nice.
you can have things that you borrow money against, as far as you own, or if you get something under contract. The probably the cleanest way to do it, if you're flipping, to get a property under contract, go ahead and talk to some people, up front, and say, this is what I'm doing. When I get a property, I'll run it by you if you're interested. When they're interested, they just wire the money to the closing attorney or the title company. The title company will give them a mortgage and a note. They know they're secured, and then when you sell, they get their money plus the interest you agreed on, and they sign off, saying a release of mortgage. When they get their money, they sign a release of mortgage. She'll record it. Everything's good.
Nice, nice.
Key is just, in raising it, it's just practice. You just ask people, and you just say, hey, I got this deal and I pay you 10% interest. You want to bring it down? And, you're not really trying to get it, but you just practice saying it.
Right.
And the more you practice, the better you get, the more comfortable you get. But if you've got a property worth 100,000, you're only borrowing, say, 60. The best thing that could happen for that person is for you not to make the payments and they get that property.
Right.
And they can sell it and make, a buku more than they've got with you. But when they understand that, they know that you're not going to miss, payments. As far as payments go, sometimes I pay a monthly. Sometimes I pay when the property closes. It just depends on what we're doing. Sometimes we may pay a little monthly and the rest of it when the property closes. That allows you, pay a little more interest out. And it just depends how much you make. I borrowed money anywhere from 4% to 6%, 8%, 10%. So
Nice.
it just depends on the project you're doing. You just fit that in to the money you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay back.
Nice, nice. I had a gentleman call me earlier today, and he asked some questions about the private money. So I was just wondering, like, say for example, the guys, because I know it's a lot of people probably watching this, and they got some questions about private money. They're like, that's good, as far as having a dialogue with folks. But what if they say they don't know of anybody that that have the money? So say it's a person that really doesn't know of anyone who has money. How would they go about finding a person to have that conversation with? Or what would you say to a person like that?
Well, if they're having trouble, they just need to go, to where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the money in America is with the seniors, 65 and older.
Mm-hmm.
That's where most of the money is. That's where people are not seeing a return on their money with the CDs. They would like to get a better return. They're looking for somewhere to park it. And it's just meeting those seniors. Depending on what kind of job you do, what you do, if you can get in front of seniors and let them know what you do. I found that younger people, either they don't understand, they don't want to do it, they may be a little, hesitant for some reason or another. But the key is getting in front, whether you go to a senior center, churches, everywhere you go, do your presentation, let them know what you're doing. But everybody I borrowed from, except for maybe one person, has been 65 or older.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And as far as the when do they have to pay the money back? Because my strategy, I like to do the seller financing. I might have might be doing a deal where we'll be into it, 7-10 years. When are they asking for the money back?
Well, if you're doing a deal like that, of course, if you sell something, you can pay them back. If you get to the end of it, you pay them back then. I borrow money 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. A lot of times when I borrow, say for 1 year, they just want to roll it over every year. Once they see everything's good, they just say, roll it over. But that's all dependent upon the project. If you're doing a flip, you'll pay it back when the project closes. If somebody say, let you borrow 20, they may just let it go ongoing. And if one day they call up and say, hey, I just want my money back, you might even have a contract with them. Mm-hmm. But I always let people know when I'm borrowing it like that, so give me at least a month or so, because I don't have your money sitting in a bank. I'm churning it. The money is working. So it's in a property, either in a buying a property or rehabbing a property, but it's somewhere in real estate.
Right.
So they let me know, then I can go out And a lot of times when we sell a property, we'll pay it off. Uh, 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 Somebody calls up, say, I need my 50,000 back. Say, hey, no problem. We got a property up for sale. When it sells, we'll pay them. Other people that say, look, I need my 20. Make a phone call and say, hey, you want to make 4 to 6% on your money. And they say, sure. You borrow, from them. You just got another one going, pay the other person off.
Right.
So, it's like you said, it just depends how you set it up, the needs. Because sometimes you may think, look, we borrowed this money for 5 years, 2.5 years into it, they said we want our money back. So at that point, you'll either have to sell something or raise it from somewhere else. But
Right.
if you constantly practice and raising money, it's not as difficult. When you need it, when somebody calls up and you've got different people that lend you money. And once
Right.
people find out, here's the thing with seniors, a lot of them like just to keep quiet that they're making 8% or 10%. But if you can get them telling other people, then they say, well, what are you doing? How do they make that? And when you show them, you say, look, when you go to the bank and borrow money, you want to borrow 100,000. So what do you want it for? So I'm going to invest in some stocks, some bonds. Would they give it to you? Probably
Right.
not. But if you say I got a property, it's worth 100,000, I can pick it up for 45, put 15 in it, and they say, okay, that's they're loan for real estate.
Right on.
It's a hard, asset. It's a hard structure. It's not, a stock or a bond, but it's actually something you can physically touch.
Right. Right. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, well, what we do it is, as you guys know, I coach real estate. I specialize in doing the lease options and land contracts. And basically, what we're looking to do is bundle this up. If anybody wants to find out a little bit more about the private money, we can throw that right in there with my current program. And if anybody's interested in that, you can always hit us up in the DM, or you can go with workwitharmand.com. Watch the little video, set up a little time where we can talk. Or if you guys just interested in the private money alone, you can just you can either go to that website, and as we're on the phone, we can have that conversation, or you can call in directly at 765-400-2768. Again, that number is 765-400-2768. But guys, for no matter what your experience is, just imagine if money wasn't an issue, how many deals could you buy if money wasn't a problem? Even with the person with not so expert experience in real estate, you can kind of find yourself doing quite a few deals if money wasn't an issue. And that's basically what with the private money is showing you how to get the money. So if you know how to get the money, it's good deals all around you, especially in this current climate that we're in. We're entering into a buyer's market. So if you had the opportunity to get your hands on, unlimited amount of funds, what are you gonna do with that? I know back in 2008 when things were going, we had a pretty challenging market back then, but that's where we're entering right now. It's a challenging market, and basically, if you have that access to those funds, this can be a real turnaround period for you. So. Anything else you want to add, Frank?
Well, that would been $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, paydays that I would have missed without the private money. That
Wow.
I couldn't have pulled them down. Even if you got $1 million to invest and you buy 10 houses at $100,000, you follow me? That's your $1 million into it. So
Right.
you're buying for 80 and put 20 fix up. You're waiting for all 10 to close. An excellent deal comes up. Even though you got $1 million, you got it at that moment in real estate. So you'll need another source for funds.
Absolutely.
And the real hard money just eats into the profit so much. And they want it, you in and out quick so they can
Right.
churn that money again. Private money is a lot more relaxed. It's a lot of, the people not pressuring you. You got it for one time. It's cheaper. You could, in this environment, you could actually borrow anywhere from 2%, give 2% on up because the bank's not paying much.
Right.
And people think you're giving them a fortune. Sometimes you'll say, I can give you 8%. Well, how can you pay that when the CD's only paying less than 1%? They question that. So I like to start, actually low sometimes.
Right.
People can relate to that. And they're glad to do it, I've got some people that continuously want to renew the contract because they get that interest every month, and
Right.
they use that to they're retired to live on or whatever they do.
Absolutely. Especially now where the stock market, man, the stock market is tanking. So you could offer another a person a good alternative. I mean, they should be all over that. And just like you said, you picking up $100,000 house for 45,000 needs $15,000 worth of work. I mean, that's almost a no brainer.
Right.
Right.
And the deals are out there,
Absolutely.
and if the deal's not there, you create it. That's what real estate investors do is they don't always find deals, but they create them either through negotiation or the way they structure the deal.
Right.
Sometimes we've had people subordinate. They've had property, and instead of buying it, they'll just subordinate it. So we'll put the fix-up money in, which we borrowed, and when we sell it, the buyers pay for the house. The private money lenders got their money back with interest. We might walk away with, $15,000 each. So
Nice.
That's three of us. So it works out real good.
Right. Yeah, that's a pretty advanced strategy right there. You got the seller willing to take a subordinate position.
The key's just asking.
Right.
They're motivated people everywhere. You can tell pretty quick if a person's not motivated, and if they want full retail, just let them know you're an investor. That you just can't pay retail. You're not going to live in it. You're doing it as an investment, and then you'll know their level of motivation. Generally, they'll let you know the bottom dollar. Then, if you can maybe get terms with that, give them a little down and finance it may work. If not, you just go on to the next project, or you ask, can I check back in a couple months, see how you're doing? We had a lady one time. She would not take less than $16,000. It was a double wide on land. Wouldn't say she would not. She called a couple months later. We offered her 6. She called a couple months later and took it. And I said, "Can I give you 3,000 down and make payments to 300 a month?" It's paid off. She said, "Yeah." But she, at that point, she was motivated.
Right. Absolutely.
Put a new roof on it. It's worth about 60-something thousand now. It's rent for 500 a month. So sometimes the motivation just changes later on.
Right.
Not trying to take advantage of people. It actually helped her out. She needed to get rid of it. She had a guy in it that hadn't paid in years. He wouldn't move out. He wouldn't pay, and she didn't need the money. She's super well off.
Nice.
So it worked out well for everybody. When we took over, he started paying us immediately. So
that's awesome. And that's another thing too, we've just been focusing on the private money. Then I kind of touched a little bit on the seller finance and everything like that. But I know a lot of people, I had just had a gentleman call me up about mobile homes. And I know you do quite a bit of mobile homes and land and things like that down there in South Carolina. You want to touch on a little bit of that as far as, the real estate business, as far as flipping mobile homes?
Yeah, land, lots, mobile homes are real profitable in South Carolina. Mobile homes is just the means of affordable housing. Everybody can't, that works just can't afford rent for a house or a mortgage. But the mobile homes, nowadays around here, they're just about nice as a house. And they're sold on title. It's a lot easier, unless they've been detitled on part of the land, then you need an attorney. But far as just the mobile home is sold on title, just like a car is. And you get it under contract, or you actually buy it. Same way with the house, you can flip the contract. You pick up a mobile home. The gentleman bought 3-4 acres with a double wide. It needed work. He didn't want it. It was older. He wanted it moved off. He wanted to sell it. We offered him 1,000. He took it. We gave him 1,000. Some people looked at it. We had it out there for I think about 13, but they paid us 10,000 for it, and they moved it. So that was a quick, $9,000 assignment figure wholesale that we never had to do anything. But lots are the same way. We bought a lot for 5,400, had a burnt mobile home on it. Had sold it for around $9,000-10,000, and the person demoed the mobile home for about 15. Now they got a lot which is worth 15,000 that they got in a little bit, less. Lots, land, mobile homes, even small houses, the rentals, anything that you can put under contract flip. Sometimes you can do it without money, but when you come upon something you need money, if you don't have it at the time, maybe you got 3 or 4 flips going on, and all maybe your money's in that flip.
Right.
You'll need some more money. So
Absolutely.
if you can structure it without money, whether it's a mobile home, a lot, piece of land, whatever, that's great. But right now in this area, mobile homes are big in demand. People are looking for mobile homes. They're looking for lots to put mobile homes on. The dealerships looking for lots. If you can find a lot, in a decent area at a good price, you can sell it pretty quick to the local mobile home dealers around.
Nice. Okay, folks. Just wanted to share just a little quick chat about the private money, and we tossed in there something about mobile homes. If you guys looking to like flip mobile homes and things like that, you guys want some more information on that, I mean, you can message us, or you can hit me up at 765-400-2768, and we continue to bring on guests every week. We go live. Today was a little bit late. I had a closing that kind of held us up a little bit, but every Thursday at 3 p.m. we got the Wright Flow Show. We're gonna have guests on to kind of share their real estate knowledge and experience, and just showing you different ways of how you guys can get it out here. All right, until next week. I wish I had some music, man. I've been working to try to get some people to get some music. I like to have the music as we have the intro and the exit. But until next week, we're gonna, you guys stay safe out there and make sure you guys practicing good hygiene and the social distances, staying away from people and things like that. And have a great weekend. And until next week, we'll wrap again. And Frank, I'll give you a call as soon as I wrap this up.
Sounds good. Thanks, Armand.
All right, thank you. And thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Well.